If I can have everyone's attention, please. Today is Monday, October 24, 2016. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start the meeting with invocation by Mr. Anderson, followed by Pledge of Allegiance with Ms. Lancaster. If I can have everyone please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight thanking you, Father, for your many blessings. We thank you, Father, for allowing us to be born here and live here in America, Father, and to have others come from around the world, Father, to enjoy the blessings that you give us. Father, we pray for our city, that you would guide and direct our leaders, and that they would do everything they do, Father, to prosper us and help us, Father, to be a better community. And we just ask for your special guidance in this meeting tonight. For these things we do pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a person with specific factual information. Claims against the council, the city, members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and please write it down. Please.
Mayor, council, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Sanders. I am a vice president of the Paris Optimist Club. I reside at 3775 Eagle Bend in Paris. I apologize for the club, for they were supposed to be here in August to make a presentation to you, asking for support for the Paris Optimist baseball program. The ED resigned the same week as they were supposed to be here, and no one knew that they were supposed to be here to address the council. Our program is 35 years old. It's the only program for 35 years for baseball. Our budget is over $200,000 a year, in which we have to raise in some manner in this city. We are a member of the franchise Dixie Youth Baseball. We are the largest franchise in Texas. We serve over 750 to 800 kids in the spring and 300 kids in the fall for ages 3 through 14. We touch more kids in our program than any other organization in Lamar County. The city sponsors girls softball. The city sponsors adult softball, but there is no support for Paris Optimist baseball. We are the only baseball program in the area, and as state director of Dixie Youth Baseball, I can say we're the only program out of Dixie Youth Baseball that has no support from their city or their county. Our tournaments bring in over $250,000 to the city each year in revenue with hotels, motels, restaurants, gas stations, and shopping. We have 7 fields at Woodall Field and other facilities there that if you had to replace today, it would cost over $5 million. We're asking the city, and would have had asked the city at that time to pay for our utilities and help support our budget, which amounts to about $8,000 a year, but anything would help up to that amount. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Normand?
My name is Sims Norman. I live at 606 Church Street. When you're 300 miles from the state capital, you're not on an interstate highway, you're geographically isolated, we as a community need to fight, scratch, and claw for every economic opportunity that could possibly come our way. I think that when you look at the mistakes that the EDC has made in the past, they're really not so much real estate mistakes as they are working capital mistakes. Real estate in the state of Texas is really a good buy. You know, there's no guarantee that if the EDC builds a speculative building that we'll get a tenant in it real quickly. But if you look at our recent successes, or maybe in the last 20 years, all of the businesses that have come to our community have come to an existing building. So although there's no guarantee we'll get a tenant in a speculative building quickly, there is a guarantee of what will happen if we do nothing as a community. You can look around the state of Texas for communities that have done nothing, and you can see that they're drying up, that the economic opportunities for the citizens get eroded, the tax base will erode. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I appreciate the fact that you all are willing to give your time to the citizens of Paris. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. Please.
My name is Renee Harvey. I reside at 4125 Smallwood Road. I'm here this evening representing the Paris Board of Realtors and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all. We're here to ask you to please consider the Paris Economic Development Corporation's plan to build a building for economic growth. In the last few months, each of our real estate companies have worked with small businesses and small industries.
Harvey, can you please bring the mic closer so that people can hear?
I'm so sorry. I usually don't have that problem, Mayor. Thank you so much. But each of our real estate companies have worked with industries and small businesses employing from 5 to 20 people, looking to locate their operations in Paris and Lamar County. And we have not been able to find those existing buildings. Now, there's a blessing in that as well, that we don't have empty buildings everywhere, as some of the counties around us do. We believe that small business is incredibly important to a positive and progressive, healthy economic environment. And we need a mix of large industry and small industry. And we need salaries in every category. We appreciate you taking a proactive approach to bringing new opportunities for employment. We cannot afford to lose any business and industry for lack of having a building. Even if it's only 10% of potential users, we can't lose that. We have no way of knowing how many opportunities we have lost because we don't have an existing building, and we need to build it now. To have a building in place, move-in ready, debt-free is an added bonus, a tremendous bonus. You can say that there's risk that that building would sit vacant for a while. We don't believe that it will, not based on the inquiries that we have had in the past couple of years. The risk of losing potential businesses' employment to other communities that have existing building is simply a loss that is far too costly. Let's work together on this. The realtors here this evening know how difficult it has been to place these small businesses and industries. We can all benefit from the collaboration. Let's offer a pro-business attitude, and we all benefit. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all that you do for our great city. Thank you.
My name is Carolyn Williams. I live at 1205 West Center Street here in Paris, Texas. I want to see a change in mowing the lots. I have complained several times about getting the lots mowed, and what they tells me they out of funds. And also the grass gets so high you can't even see over the intersection. You can't see the railroad sign or nothing. I live on northwest part of town. And also the street from Center Street to Graham Street has been patched up because of the gas company came in and put gas lines in. And when they patched it up, you find everybody kind of riding to the side to keep from riding in the middle because the road is so bumpy. I talked to the city about that also, and I asked them about, I said, y'all gonna just let the gas company come in and tear up the street and leave it like that? They said in due time they will fix it, but it's not been solved yet. And also, I have some lots myself. I got a letter from the city saying that I had some grass so high in degree, and what they were supposed to do, they came out there and cleaned it off, and then they sent me the bill. They sent me a bill of $378.28. So I went and looked at the lot, which come to find out it's not mine, but when I went out there and looked at it, it wasn't nothing done to it. So the lot that they said they cleaned off and want to try to get me to pay for it was not true. I appreciate it if we can get something done about mowing the vacant lots, and also getting some streets repaired. Where I live at is some bad drainage getting cleaned out. I appreciate y'all looking into that, and I appreciate y'all just listen to what I have to say, and y'all have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams.
Mayor, Council, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Josh Bray. I live at 8097 FM Road 195 in Paris and own Sanitation Solutions. I think of economic development and entrepreneurship as being very similar. Zero risk, zero reward. We can sit conservatively doing nothing and never have an opportunity. Some would like to point out the failures of PDC and stop at just the fact that they failed. I'm not here to talk tonight about past failures or past successes of the PDC. I'm here to talk about the future of Paris and the way it could look for my kids and my grandkids. Do we want to be on the front end of economic development or the back end? Progressive cities will be aggressive, taking calculable risk to make things happen. Paris is very fortunate right now to have very few empty buildings. Great on one front, bad on another. I've seen more and more companies around my service area that operate because of a building. Let's look at just Paris and see what the value of an empty building is. Skinner didn't come here because of any other reason other than an empty building. Results became because of an empty building. Turner, the result of an empty building. Economic development money needs to be spent on economic development. Spending money to create jobs. Let me say this, EDCs are not created to be profitable. I'm not just saying that this project will sit one day, 1 year, or it could sit for a few years. But with the creation of jobs, you create housing, and with housing, you create retail. When you put these three things together, you create new tax dollars to help improve the infrastructure that's failing within our city. I appreciate what you said, Ms. Lancaster, about learning from history. Past history is given working capital and cash as incentives, which proved to be poor use of economic development dollars. I appreciate that Mr. Paris and his board have recognized the past failures and realized that building buildings and giving rent as incentive is a much safer investment. In closing, we need a physical building in Paris, Texas. A building like Mark Buster and Robert Hall bought that was the original Bitco building. A building that they paid $582,000 for, which was the appraised value. They came with 100 jobs, and over the last 20 years have grown to over 400. This organization paying over $90,000 in taxes annually. In my opinion, that's an example of success. I ask for your vote to allow PDC to build a building that might be the next RK Hall. Thank you.
Hello, Council. I'm Brad Drake, 3215 Abbey Lane here in Paris. I'm owner of Lamar Industrial, which is also based here in Paris. We perform plant work here in Northeast Texas. Our customers include Campbell's, Daisy's, Pilgrims, and others. Tonight, I want to encourage you to approve the PEDC building opportunity located adjacent to the industrial park. I want to be clear that opportunity is what we need. I want to share an example of what a vacant building can do. Recently, we were contacted about performing work for a new food company that was trying to locate here in Northeast Texas.
Fortunately for Bonham, which had a vacant building, they were able to attract Duke Foods to locate its new facility there. Bonham turned out in full force with its city council and civic leaders to welcome Duke. Here's a quote from Duke's CEO. Bonham caught my attention from the second I came to town. Duke Foods went to Bonham to view a vacant building. Now they are expanding it to 110,000 square feet, will employ 200 people, and will be manufacturing product within a year. Not to confuse Duke Foods as being a startup or in need of incentives, they were founded in 1917, have 2 other locations, and have a track record for success. The moral of the story is, without a vacant building to show the prospect, Duke would not have discovered Bonham. Council members, I hope that you have the vision to allow PEDC to create a vacant building in order to provide the opportunity for a new industry to discover our fine city. Thank you.
Mr. Ressler? Sorry.
Actually, I forgot what number I even am, so.
Doesn't matter.
All right, I'm Vic Ressler, 4020 Holbrook, Paris, and I broker Century 21 Executive Realty. I'll say I'm in favor of building this building. Over the last several years, several examples come to my mind. One of them was a company that repurposed rubber from tires to make other rubber products. They didn't come here, we didn't have a building for them. There was one that was relocating a business here from overseas. They made lawn chairs for companies, big box companies like Lowe's and Home Depot. Couldn't find a building for them. Last I heard, they were locating in Central Texas. They found a building there. There was another company that made products out of steel, and there were steel gates that kept debris from getting in storm sewers and lakes and those kinds of things. It was a new patent, kind of a startup company, but their parent company was well established. Didn't come here that same reason. So, you know, from my perspective, we're sitting on a lot of money in PDC. I'm hearing numbers like $3 million. That money is not earning very much in CDs right now. We've got the possibility of building a building that we can build below market value because we own an expensive slab, we own the ground that it's on, and we can diversify. We've got all of our assets in one basket, CDs or whatever they're in. We can put some of that, a portion of that, into something else that may be more marketable. The exposure is minimal. Our appreciation rates in Paris, Texas are unprecedented. Property values are going up. If we build a building below market value and it sits for very long, worst thing that can happen, we sell it. I don't think that's going to happen. So I would encourage you to endorse and allow the EDC to build this building. I think it's a very good idea. The realtors endorsed it today, as Renee said. The realtors think it's a good idea. It's something we should do. Let's do it. Thank you.
Mr. Brockman?
John Brockman, 2925 Aspen. I'm also vice chair of the PEDC and an employee of First Federal Community Bank. I have a statement by the local banks that I would like to read. Any bankers in the audience, if you would please stand. Honorable members of the Paris City Council, in the recent September 26, 2016 meeting of the Paris City Council, several councilmen made a misstatement as it pertains to the PEDC's initiative to build for economic development. This initiative was categorized multiple times as high-risk investment and went as far as to say that if the building went unleased for a period of 10 years, it would have no economic value. As members of the local banking community, we find these statements inaccurate. As we deal with classifying risk each day in our line of business, we feel it is important to inform the council that the statements regarding the risk profile are without merit. One of the underlying impacts of a commercial real estate investment is the cost of carry, which in layman's terms is the cost of interest and taxes on the investment as a potential leasee is sought. Because this is a cash transaction and because the PEDC pays no ad valorem tax, there is virtually no cost of carry owning this building. In essence, the PEDC is simply converting one asset, cash, for another asset, a building. Additionally, the future cost to build a building is much more likely to be higher, thus making better use of our cash asset today. Because of the limited interest of businesses to relocate to Paris without an existing facility, we feel like this is not only a prudent use of assets, but one of low risk as well. As experts in the field, we hope you will take our assessment under advisement and put PEDC cash assets to more productive use and attract new businesses and jobs. Delivered on behalf of the Banks of Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Brockman.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Gerald. I reside at 3410 Audubon Road here in Paris. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones and am just recently finishing up with chairmanship at the Lamar County Chamber of Commerce. I will just add a little plug. Please come to our event tomorrow night. It's going to be a great event, and I hope you all are going to be there. So I just too would like to lend our support and my support for the spec building that's been discussed. This is a pro-business move. I think you've heard a lot of good supporting arguments for that, but I actually served as a ex officio member of the PEDC for the last year as I served as chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, and I've heard many good hours of discussion on the research that's gone into the decision that they've brought before you to make this building a part of their plan. I hear a lot of talk about this being something like we have seen in the past, and it is not. The due diligence and the expertise that's been brought to the table both by this board and by our employee of Michael Paris is exceptional, and I think it definitely should be considered very seriously as you look at this as a city council. I appreciate your service. I do hope you will support this. It is good for our community, and we do need opportunities for businesses to help our chamber membership, and we know that this kind of investment will pay off in the future. So I appreciate your allowing me to speak. I appreciate you letting me serve as an ex officio for the PEDC from the Chamber of Commerce, and thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Pat Murphy. I'm a local real estate appraiser. My office is at 5295 Clarksville Street. I live in County Road 13200. I was here to ask tonight to address the values by the PEDC. I'm not getting paid. They just dropped it on me, and I said I'll be glad to come up here and talk to you about it. Number one, you're making a heck of a buy on the land. That 28.5 acres total has got to be worth at least $400,000 if it's marketed correctly. Even if you take out the building in the middle with about 11.4 acres, the way I figured it for one of the nonprofits that owned it, the land to the west is worth at least $250,000. The 4 acres with a little masonry building that fronts 19th is worth at least 60, probably 75 if the building contributes anything. That puts you in at over $260,000 without the 11 acres in the building that you're talking about right now. So you're going to be covered if that center property was worth nothing. Your land is good. You're absolutely right to be concerned about a loss in value in industrial properties because they do lose money. There's a factor called obsolescence, and that's the difference in cost new and what it'll contribute, what it'll sell for. Usually we see anywhere from 35 to 50% of a loss in value in a new industrial building. But what the difference is here is comparing apples to apples. You're getting this building in there at $19.25 a square foot cost. Whereas if you went out and built it with a slab and all, it'd be over $40 a square foot. So you've already built in a 50% factor, a loss factor. That's the difference. And that's why this is a good deal. Otherwise, I'd say you need to think twice about it. But you've already built that factor in there. Again, thank you for your service. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you. If there's nobody else, okay, Ms. Hufnagel?
I'm Carol Hufnagel, 720 Bunker Street, and all these businessmen are a hard act to follow. But I do want to throw the coin up a little bit regarding agenda item number 13. Number one, we have no idea what other businesses that might come here want with a design or the dimensions of a building. I think if an individual or a group of individuals want to pool their money and invest in a business, and it's their private enterprise with their money, that's one thing. That's great. But you as a council are responsible for taxpayers' money. And I question whether we should be funneling taxpayers' money into a project of wishful thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wanting to speak? If nobody else is wanting to speak, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any questions on the consent agenda? Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson? No. Dr. Clifford? Mr. Trinado?
No.
Mr. Jenkins?
No, sir.
Ms. Lancaster?
No, sir.
And myself, I have no questions about it. So what we'll do is we'll take a motion on this item.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the regular agenda. Item number 12 is conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Jason Vickers on behalf of Spencer O'Connor for a change in zoning from general retail district to a general retail district with a specific use permit for a tattoo shop on the City of Paris Block 249, Lot 12, being located at 2620 Lamar Avenue. Mr. Efrasi,
Yes,
you're going to
good.
make it short? We
Yes,
have all
sir.
read about it.
Yes, sir. That's good. I recommend approval.
Okay, that is short enough.
That's pretty short.
Okay,
Be
thank
pleased
you
to
so
an-
much.
Answer any questions since you
Thank you.
happily read the agenda item.
Do
Thank
any
you.
of the council members have any questions about it?
No,
No.
sir.
I'll take a motion on this.
I make a motion. We accept.
Oh, okay, well, open the public hearing first.
Thank you.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against, please come forward and address the council. Please write your name and address for the record.
My name is Jason Vickers. I live at 2321 Pine Bluff. Oh, sorry. I just want to say thank you for listening to me and taking this into consideration. I'm hoping to raise the level and quality of the standards of tattooing in Paris so that way we offer the only best for everybody available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do anybody else for or against? No? The public hearing is now closed. Do we need to have another one, or we can take a motion now?
Ready for a motion.
Okay. So anyone wants to make a motion?
Make a motion, we accept.
Okay, second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, thank you. I do want to thank the planning and zoning, but this was the item that they didn't. So I do want to thank them for doing an emergency meeting because he was very much interested in getting his business started, and they did an additional meeting just to have his item approved. So item number 13 is discuss and act on PDC's proposal to build a spec building on the property located at 2305 Northwest Loop, 286, formerly known as Oliver Rubber Company.
Is it
Mr.
that simple?
Pettis.
I recommend approval.
I think this is a little hard one.
You got me there. You got me there.
For the Paris news, I do want to make a comment before you start.
Sure.
I think to present this item as a fight between the council and PDC is a very wrong notion. I think PEDC is trying to do their best for the city. I think the council is trying to do the best for the city. We may have difference of opinions, but I don't think anybody's intentions should be judged that they are doing something wrong or we are doing something wrong. So please, for future, don't write a front page article saying that we are in a fight with each other. We are not in a fight with each other at all. Thank you.
Not at all. Not at all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have my opportunity to come and speak with you today about spec building. I know we had a good discussion about 4 weeks ago talking about what we were trying to achieve. I did make the adjustment with the builder's risk and took that off, and so the request that we're asking for is $774,260. And again, since I did not sense any opposition to the conditions, we wanted to make sure that the conditions were included that we'd like to offer. Is that the city council will have final decision if the building is leased, and then the city council would have final decision if the building does come up for sale. And I think I mentioned last time, it's an opportunity for us to work together, and I feel like this was an amicable way for us to offer some conditions so the city council's involved with this process, and at the same time has a final decision in the process as we move forward. What I'd like to start out by doing is going over what was asked of me during that session that we had about 4 weeks ago and answer some of the questions that were proposed. And we went down the list. I think you were not here, but we went down the list.
I've seen the video.
Okay, good deal. Ms. Drake, you had suggested two questions to me and asked me two questions. And the first one had to deal with what we've been hearing from the Texas Economic Development Council, that 75% of the prospects come to Paris and they look for existing building space. I did confirm, and I think I mentioned to you that night, I'm not sure there's anything in writing or an academic proposal or a paper on that. But during my meeting in TEDC this past week, I asked a few other people, 75%, is that a good ratio? And they all agreed it was high. At the same time, they did agree with me that Paris may not meet some qualifications. So if we're just increasing our prospects by 2 or 3 people, or 30% or 40%, however you want to term that, we really feel like it's a good scenario, a good asset to have to increase our prospect activity. And that's what I talked about in the last session, was it's a good resource in our toolbox. The other aspect that you asked about was the building design. How did that come about? And making sure that I had all my ducks in a row to get back with you on that. What we have done is we established this particular site based on cost. So, for example, and I can't remember if I talked about it in detail last time, but 20,000 square feet at the business park, brand new, was the same amount of cost as building almost 38,000 square feet on existing slab. And we're also repurposing, and you can go into the intrinsic value of this. But the slab itself, if you've looked at it, it's a little bit of an L-shaped top slab. And the folks who have the metal buildings that we're talking to and looking at these metal buildings, was communicating with us that the cost of setting up a metal building, these prefab buildings, setting up the building to go in that L shape at 30,000 square feet, we could actually enhance it by 10,000 square feet and do a more boxy style prefab building. So we were able to use the same cost for 30,000 at an L shape, increase it by 10,000 square feet, and get that building at the same cost because it's in a box top structure. And that's the reason that building was designed the way it was designed, and the plans, and we gave that to the architect, and of course they went forward from that point and putting that together. So hopefully that answers a couple of your questions there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Dr. Clifford, you had made some very good points in regards to risk and the timeline, and you had some research that you brought to us. I did look at Newport, Tennessee, and I think we're looking at a community, the population around 70,000 people. They do have a spec building that's been there since 2005, and you had mentioned that. The one thing interesting about Newport is that this building has sat there for a long period of time, and it's right next to Interstate 40. Right now, Watson Trucking is talking to them about that spec building, and the EDC is offering a counter offer. So Watson Trucking is offering a little over $5,000. The EDC is looking at doing a counter offer so they can purchase it for Watson as an incentive. So the EDC doesn't own that building there in Newport, Tennessee. So I agree with you. The building has been there well over, I think, 10 years. At the same time, it's been legally bound until it's been released so that they can go back and move forward with the process. But $500,000, and I believe Watson Trucking wants to create 10 jobs. That turns out to be around $100,000 a job, or excuse me, $50,000 a job. So that's a really large incentive for 10 jobs. But interestingly, it's been sitting there for a while, and they wanted to at least get rid of it. You had also mentioned Paris, Tennessee. Paris, Tennessee, you're looking at a population of around 10,000 people. The EDC director there is David Hamilton. I gave him a call and visited with him about that spec building that's been available. I think you said since 2006, and it has been available since 2006. Unfortunately, that building is not located close to any 4-lane highway. It is on 2-lane access roads up to Paris and that county, Paris, Tennessee. Mr. Hamilton did describe to me that he's had good success with spec buildings in Dickinson, Tennessee, which does have 4-lane access, but it's not interstate access. So he's had some good successes. But the key here is that he had a better business environment in Dickinson than he had in Paris, Tennessee. So yes, you are correct. That building has sat there for a long period of time. But I'm more than certain and comfortable in saying that they're not dealing with the same conditions that we're dealing with. You had also mentioned a blog, I believe down in the Dallas area, from a site consultant. I did a little research and found out that blog comes from Dean Barber, who's a site consultant down in the Dallas area. Dean is a wonderful man. He's a great site consultant. I've known Dean for some time now. But in the article, you had quoted a paragraph about, and I think we even kind of chuckled about it a little bit, but about the patience of Job. But if you would allow me, I'd like to put that paragraph in context. The purpose of Mr. Barber's article in that particular blog was to highlight certified business parks. And in that certification, he's talking about the pros and cons of actually building a spec building. But so let me put this paragraph in context and allow me to read, and I'll be glad to hand you the full article if you'd like to see it. Quote, "Last year I saw a spec building that never should have been built. It was an isolated community 26 miles from the nearest interstate, and it was obsolete the day it was built with low ceiling heights. And it has remained empty, not having its first tenant for 17 years. Now, I think that probably does qualify for a white elephant status. Generally speaking," and this is your quote, "I would advise a rural community, especially one that is miles away from an interstate highway or metropolitan area, to steer clear of a spec building unless you have the patience of Job. Having said that, it is absolutely true that a community needs real estate product to be contender in industrial recruitment. Preferably, that product consists of both existing buildings and sites, but for many communities, that is simply not the case." I did call Mr. Dean Barber and visited with him a little bit and tried to share with him some of the scenarios that we're dealing with and this hard decision that we need to make as a community. And Mr. Barber said, well, let's be honest, are you close to any 4-lane highway? And then obviously I described the Highway 24 coming in from Interstate 10, and I described 271 going to Interstate 40. And then he asked me about the loop. I told him about the loop in Paris. And he says, does the loop have any lights on it? And I said, yes, it does. He said, is it frontage? And I said, yes. He said, then, according to his words, you have good transportation infrastructure. And then he says, what's your ceiling height? And I said, it's 28 feet. He says, good. You have good ceiling height. Attractive, that's his word. And then he says, is it expandable space? And I said, yes, it is. In fact, we have 28 acres around that space. And so he says, look, from everything that you're telling me on the phone, without any other assessment or such, but with everything you're telling me on the phone, it looks like you have an attractive scenario for a spec building. And again, back to his point is, if you want to be competitive for industrial recruitment, it's healthy to have a spec building as a community and moving forward. I believe you had also mentioned some of the history here, and I think a lot of us would like to forget a little bit about the history, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of scenarios where sometimes the history is not really identified as promptly as we want it to, because your main point in that discussion was that the building could be sitting up there for 10 years and nobody ever move into it. So let's look at how the city of Paris has done, especially with the examples that you brought up. Bitco. Bitco was empty for 20 months. The total cost of construction, and keep in mind, the city of Paris was the general contractor. The total cost of construction was $817,712. It appraised when it was bought by Buster Paving. It was appraised for $582, and then the incentives from the PEDC were $200,000. So at the end of the day, we could have a huge discussion of whether the city of Paris should have been a general contractor or not. Did we lose some money, which has been your point? Yes, book value, you could make the case that we've lost some money. But Buster Paving has been paying taxes. I think they started out with 100 jobs. I think Arcade Hall is now involved with that, and you're around 400 jobs. So you have a good tax-paying member of the community who came in because you had an empty space. C-Tech, as I understand it, was empty for 5 years. The PEDC never owned the building. You had $1.5 million in incentives. They received $500,000 in the settlement. The C-Tech was open longer, but keep in mind it was bound legally until they could release the legal aspects of it so that it could be available for prospect. So at the same time, C-Tech, yes, is an outlier. It was open for 5 years. But I can confidently tell you, when you look at all the legal parameters and the buildings being free and clear and such, our buildings on average in Paris, and it really tells us a lot about this community, but on average, these buildings have been open and available for about 2 years before they're filled again. So hopefully we've been able to tackle some of those questions for you and the points that you were trying to make. But I would welcome Mr. Murphy to come back up if you'd like to have a few more questions about the value of the property or anything of that nature. I don't mind inviting him back up if you'd allow me. Do you have any questions on the value of the property or such? Yes, sir.
I'm going to start with each council member, so if you're done with your presentation, whenever you're done.
Absolutely.
Ms. Drake.
I'm sitting here, I had written some things down, but he may have answered them all.
No questions?
Not right now.
Okay. Mr. Frierson?
Michael, if you don't mind, walk me through what Mr. Murphy was saying, or if Mr. Murphy would like to come back about being in the space for such a reasonable amount of money at $19 a foot versus what a new construction would cost, just so we can have a point of reference.
I want to invite Mr. Murphy to come up and
Sure.
describe that again.
Would you repeat your question, Mr.
Well,
Frierson?
just, if you don't mind, just a little more in the weeds as far as why this is such a good deal. If you're talking about diminishing value of the building, how this has been offset by the actual cost that would be incurred.
Well, if you were to build that building, just you and I go out there and build that building, it would cost, the way they're intended to do, about $40 or a little better a square foot. You're getting it in there at this new 774 or 760s, I understand, and that's $20.20. So that's half. That's a 50% loss in value. And that's about the high end of what we see in industrial properties. So you're getting it, you're in there at market value. Plus you've got the land in there that you're making a ton of money on.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
And while you're standing here, let me add just something that I've learned through this. When I gave you the difference between $28 a square foot and $50 a square foot, if you recall, that was part of our project cost. And that's what it is project cost. But if you recall, Mr. Murphy is talking about $19 a square foot. That's based, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's based on the building itself, not the land that it's on or anything. So when you do an appraisal, you look at the land and you look at the building. Am I?
That's correct. And if you look at that and you take what I call the primary site, about 11 acres around it, it's about 700 feet of frontage, covers all the Circular Drive and back, you'd have another $5.20 a square foot in it. So you'd be in there about $25 a square foot. The most similar building I've appraised is down at Pittsburgh. It was about a 5-year-old industrial building with 28-foot eaves, and it brought $26.48, and its land value was only $24,000. It was on 6 acres outside, 4 acres outside Pittsburgh. They've since added on 3 times at least. I mean, they're I don't know what they are now, 50,000, 60,000 feet.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that was kind of my point. Initially, frankly, I probably, like a lot of other people, suffered from a little bit of sticker shock seeing that number and realizing, like, that's a big chunk of change that we're really talking about, something that, who knows what the end result is. But I think given a few steps more in terms of questions and trying to understand really what the perspective and point of view is on really what you're getting into, as opposed to just what the $700,000 figure is. I think that helps me a lot, just in terms of realizing what the true product is versus what the perception may be. So
well, I can tell you that absolutely I wouldn't be up here tonight in favor of this if you were going to build it from scratch. Unless you want to consider the loss in value, that 50% as an incentive to bring in some jobs. But from a real estate standpoint, yeah, if you had to pay the real money for it, you definitely have a loss in value. But when you are where you are now, it's a good, solid deal.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And
any other questions from Mr. Murphy?
No, and I do have some more comments, but as far as questions, everybody go ahead. That's fine. Thank you.
You can go ahead with your comments if you want to, or you want to wait?
No, I'll just wait. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Little side question about how long it's going to take to build this building. Do you have any idea?
We were hoping to had a decision about 30 days ago, I believe, and we were hoping to have it done by the first of the year in January. So I'm assuming it's going to probably take about 6 months. I see it being done well before March, but at least February for sure, depending, as you know, on the weather and such.
Okay. I was also wondering, I'm hearing a lot that it's a good piece of property. It's got a foundation on it, that we got at a bargain, and we still have that bargain there whether we build anything on it or not. So it's really 2 different things we're talking about. If we take a good piece of property that as you say, in 6 months we can have a building on it, that would exactly be what the company that would come here might want at their specific request. They could build exactly what they wanted, or we build a building on it that, another company, maybe a big company, wants to come here and it's 2 feet too short, and we've taken this valuable asset and we have now restricted it. We've not only sunk a lot of money into it, we've made it to where certain companies may not be able to use it. And so, all for the sake of a 6-month head start, and that's including 30. So perhaps this building could be built in 4 or 5 months. I can't even imagine why we would want to put this much money at risk and potentially harm this this good business site that we've got, and restrict the companies that might come here. Or a company might come here and might be the right height for the company, but it's just not quite right for them. It's not. They have specialized needs, and we just shut out some other companies. The slab is there. The value is there. It's a good deal. As we mentioned, we don't have to take a good deal and put a building on it just so we can say this building, oh, look how we built this building. Well, that's fine. The value is in the slab and the utilities coming there. So I'm opposed to this because I think it would restrict companies coming here. And I'm for economic development too, but I can't see that this makes a lot of sense.
If I may respond, your first point was about a good piece of property. It's attractive. You can get this thing up in about 6 months. Why not try to sell it that way?
And give an incentive based on the amount of money that we're going to lose on this building. We could offer $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 incentive, but no, we have to give them value on a building, and that's what we're talking about. I'm talking about why why not give the incentive to the company to come here rather than give them a discount on a building to come here that they may not even want?
Yeah, and that's another point that you're making. In regards to the property in and of itself, its value, and then having a situation where you sell what you exactly have at that moment. And I hate this analogy, but it's one that I think it will convey to all of us what it means. If I go to a car dealership and I look in the magazine what the car could look like, that's one thing. But if they have the car sitting out there and I'm able to get into that car and drive that car, or at least look at it and get a feel for it, I can get an idea what that car is going to be like. And let's be honest, for a lot of people who want to move to Texas, they want to see and feel that car. They want to see what it feel like. In regards to the cash scenario, which I think is at the end of what we're talking about, but you talked about why not just give the company $300,000, $400,000, $500 in cash and let them do with it what they see fit. Unfortunately, that's what was the problem with Bitco and CTEC.
The contracts were the problem.
But,
You don't give it to them all at once.
Well, if you give cash and you do some clawbacks, okay,
you give the cash in incremental values.
incremental value and then
clawbacks
clawbacks and all that such.
Contracts were the
But
problem, not
the
the
problem
idea.
with Bitcoin and CTEC is that we didn't have control over the asset. And so the PEDC lost a lot of money with this working capital type scenario, the cash up front type scenario.
And the contract could be drawn up
And
that way
what-
so that we would have a lien on the building that they might build there. There's
I'm not-
all sorts of ways this
I'm not
could
trying to be
done.
argumentative. I'm just answering your
I'll
questions.
ask one favor, please. Whoever is talking, so that all of us can understand, if we cannot interrupt each other. So when he's talking, please. So let's so that we can hear properly. So
Absolutely.
Whoever wants to start,
Please go
start
ahead.
with.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's fine. But whether you agree with the case or not, this is our case. Our case is our mistakes. And we acknowledge there's been mistakes with PEDC. But our mistakes has been based on that cash up front, on that cash in the working capital. And what we're trying to do is move away to where we move the assets. As a practitioner, the practice that I have done in my incentives, especially with BRE incentives, business retention expansion incentives, is that I will help a company with job retention or job creation if I take the first position on an asset, so I control the assets. And if a company does not meet the requirements or whatever the case may be, then I have control over those assets. And I'm not saying it's the exact same scenario, but what we're trying to do is take that concept and move it towards the building. And therefore, what we're offering them may be a little bit of discount in rent. Maybe it's free rent. It depends on what the type of jobs they are and how much they pay and all that other stuff. But now, if that company, like a Bitco or CTEC, were to go defunct, we still have an asset that we can control. When they went defunct this past time, when they went defunct, we didn't have control over that cash, and there was no clawbacks, and the settlements were far less than what the incentives that were offered. So that's what we're trying to move away from.
Can I respond to that?
Absolutely.
My response to that is simply that the contract can be drawn up appropriately. You don't have to give all the incentive at one pop.
No
You
question.
could give it $50,000 a time if it's drawn up appropriately, such that only a small amount of money would be at risk at each time, at each step of the way. And as they fulfill their steps in the contract, the incentive continues. If it doesn't, we have clawback written into the contract. There's ways to do it. We don't have to physically own an empty building to get enough guarantees that another Bitco and another CTEC won't happen to us. Yes, it was done very wrong, and the problem with those things were the contracts were not drawn up with enough clawback, and too much money was given up front. But that's a whole other thing. We're talking about building a vacant building, and whether that's a good idea or not, or whether and potentially harming this site for a certain percentage of businesses, we'll shut them out of it because we'll have built something that they don't need.
Mr. Brockman, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Let me just finish with the council. I'll give you time to speak after that. Are you done, Dr. Clifford?
Yeah.
Well, there was 2 points I haven't responded to that he had brought up.
Go ahead.
That's fine. Are you sure? I mean, okay. The 6-month Head Start and the needs assessment, yes, you may have a company that wants to expand the original space. Let's say we build a 38,000 square feet, but Michael, we love to have 100,000 square feet. Well, then our participation in that incentive is helping out with this portion of the spec building, and they will take on the ownership of the other 60,000 square feet of space. It allows us the flexibility to be expandable. And I can also tell you that we did our due diligence. The 28 feet in the wall, on the height of the walls is a good industry standard to be working with, especially for attracting heavy industrial space.
Mr. Trinado?
Yeah, Michael, by any chance, have you had anybody ask about you, or a company or call and ask you, do we have any spare buildings around here?
And I did mention in the PEDC meeting that we have had 3 prospects. I can't get into detail.
Right.
We have 3 prospects who have entertained us and have asked about space. One was a significant job creator looking for significant space, and it's obvious not only are we talking about how this thing could be expanded, but we're also talking to them about the business park. Our fingers are crossed, but it's really entry early stage. We had another conversation where there was a prospect looking at around 50 jobs, and then we've been entertaining them. They were looking for space in the community, but it is early stage as well. And then here, I think it was a week before last, we had a prospect coming in town looking for a parts warehouse and looking around 20,000 square foot of space. The point that I'm making is that these 3 did not ask about this building specifically, okay? And the parts warehouse, I mean, I want to see more job creation take place, but that's not to say we can't help in any way if they're somehow connected in this community. But at the end of the day, could we be missing? Are we missing prospects because we don't have a spec space? Knowing that those percentages are higher, absolutely. And that's the case that I made with PEDC the other night.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? No.
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
I don't have any questions right now, but I appreciate everybody that's coming out for the concerns of the community.
Ms. Lancaster?
I have no further questions at this time.
Okay. Mr. Perez, a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank all the community members who have come in. Obviously, they felt that it was a very important discussion, so they came to spend their time, so I appreciate that. Number 2, I want to thank the PEDC board members and yourself, because I'm not going to call it a thankless job, because these are all good positions, whether it's on the council, whether it's the mayor's position, whether it's the board members. Obviously, all those people are well thought of. That is why they're on those boards, or that is why we are elected. So I want to thank the PEDC board for whatever time they've spent on it. I also want to say one other thing, and that is that I think PEDC is working much better than what used to. I'm not going to go into past of what could, what should, because that's all gone in history, and I'm not interested in that, quite honestly, at this point. But I feel very good that you and Mr. Brockman have innumerable times come and explained things to me and have taken the time that you want to inform the council of various things. And even this issue of bringing it to the council and asking their opinion, I think it's very much appreciated. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no issue per se between the council and the PEDC. Whether we decide yes or no, that's a council decision, but there is no opposition per se, and I think PEDC and the council are working at much better terms than what they used to. Now, having said that, I will tell you what my feelings on this are. You know, when we started this project was a smaller project, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but somewhere along the line, whether it's my memory or whatever it was, the total project cost was felt to be about $400,000 or so, with some amount of money for the land and the cleanup or whatever was being done there, and some amount of money for the spec building, which was discussed at that point. So let me finish, can I please? Later on, as time has gone, for whatever reasons, your specs may have changed or whatever it is, the project has gone from that amount to a much higher amount, to almost $1 million, which means that $780,000 plus the additional cost, whichever was spent for that. Now, and I completely understand what Mr. Murphy is saying, that it's much cheaper and all of those things are good. I will, however, say I'm a little uncomfortable spending $1 million on the project. And I may be wrong because they're much smarter business people who have come to support the project. They may be absolutely right. But I still represent my district, and out of all the people who I've talked to, I have seen 2 people who are in support of that. One, Mr. Ressler, who is in my district, who I actually didn't talk to, but he's here supporting it, so I take it he's supporting. One of my other district person is Mr. Banks, who's was on your board, and he voted for it. So other than that, I have heard nothing but people saying, we don't want it, we don't want it, we don't want it. Now, maybe the vision is not there, I do not know. But I represent my district, and as such, I cannot support the full $1 million expenditure on this building. I think I would probably be okay at some point, again, I'll have to discuss it with people in my community, that if they would be acceptable to a smaller form, particularly if it helps in the form that you have a smaller thing, and as you said, that it can be extended to whatever size you want it. I can probably think more in terms of that, but I think to spend $1 million when we don't have a specific person is a little bit hard for me, and particularly when it's being opposed by innumerable people in my district who I represent. Now, if, however, even if this amount was being spent and you had somebody there who would even come and say that, listen, we tentatively want to come into this building and we'll pay X amount of rent, I don't think anyone in the council, and I'm taking the liberty of saying that anyone on the council, maybe some people may be still opposed to it, but I don't think anyone would oppose that. I don't think people in my district would oppose it by saying that if we had somebody who says that, okay, I'm going to rent the building at 10, 20, whatever X amount of thousands of dollars a month rental, and we'll give some amount of money in escrow so that if in case we decide not to come, the money is kept. I think if something of that sort would come, I would be glad to support. I would be glad to go back to residents in my district and ask their opinion about it. But I think at $1 million of expenditure, I would not be in favor of it. I think, and again, you know, some people have said that if you don't take, Mr. Bray said that if you don't take any risk, well, there may not be any gain, and I understand that. But I am a little reluctant to spend $1 million over a speculative building. So that's my opinion. And again, having said that, I do want to commend the PEDC for significantly bringing their overheads down, and I think to work very closely with the council, and I feel that they have done a far better job at being in communication with the council than it has been in the past. And no offense to the people in the past, that's not the intention of why I'm saying that. I just want to commend the people who are on the board now, yourself, and all others, that they've kept us abreast and they've discussed these things, and that is why we are having this discussion. So thank you. So now I'm going to...
May I respond?
Sure, and actually before that, I'm going to ask Mr. Brockman wanted to say something, so please go ahead.
I just wanted to add that we appreciate you hearing our proposal. And secondly, our board was put in place by you, the city council. And we have worked very hard on this project. As you can see from many of the city business people that are here, they're in support of it. We didn't take this lightly. We've given it a lot of thought. I think our numbers support what we're wanting to do. Back to a point that Steve made a while ago, we'll build it when they come. The point is that people want an existing building. They don't want to wait 6 months. They want it right now. And that's what we're trying to provide, is that building that's going to be there. Anything smaller, Dr. Hashmi, would just attract a smaller business. Yeah, there's some risk in a bigger business, but you know, we don't have another building. I feel certain that within 18 months we'd have this thing taken care of. So, you know, you appointed us to the board, let us work. We work hard to try to do this, and what we need is your support, not to go against you at this point. We're not trying to be argumentative about it. We're just trying to prove our point.
And I'll speak for the council. We all appreciate that, I think. You want to add something?
Absolutely. Sure. Mr. Brockman already brought up the size element, which you had brought up as well. Again, our researches show that the 28 walls, the 28-foot walls, as well as the approximately 40,000 square feet, is a legitimate attractor. You see that there's another Tennessee community that just built a 40,000 square foot building. So there's some there's buildings that have been built, but keep in mind that regarding the size, if you recall, we talked a little bit about the different buildings in the area that is located in this northeast Texas area, and I can tell you that and we talked about those buildings being vacant, and I can tell you that those buildings on average is around 19 feet tall, and if you take the two outliers out of that are 28 feet, you're looking at around 17 feet of wall space. So interestingly, the point I'm trying to make is that we've done our research on that size element. Again, the board, you've selected the board, and obviously we're here.
We have selected the board.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But what I'm here to do today is ask you this. I'm asking you to believe in Paris's potential. We have a lot of potential, and we're not taking those calculated risks. Our pipeline is empty. I'm asking you to believe in your community. Your community has filled space on average within 2 years. Your community has done that. I'm asking you to believe in what it offers, its strengths, Pat Mays, the water, the beautiful land that's around here, its resources, and more importantly, I'm asking you to believe in Paris's people, Lamar County's people, who supply these jobs. I'm also asking you in fact, Dean Barber quoted this, and I'm going to go ahead and use his quote, but if you don't invest in yourself, why should someone else invest? And I think that's a valid point to make, but there's one last statement that I want to make, and it's going back to, and we laughed about it last time, and we talked a little bit about it this time. And it goes back to what Dr. Clifford had brought out about having the patience of Job. And we were really toying with, really, do we have the patience of Job? But I'm here to suggest to you this. Not only do I believe we have the patience of Job, but we also have the tenacity. As a Paris community, we have the tenacity and we have the faith of Job. And that's what I'm trying to convey to you today, is that it's time to move forward. It's time to be progressive in what we're trying to do, and it's time to build. And it's trying to showcase our community. And what I want to do is these prospects that are coming to town, I want to continue to showcase that opportunity. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. I appreciate your time.
May I, Michael, before you go, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
didn't mean to ruin the flow of things.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions and a comment.
Sure.
First, let's go back to this element of, because I've actually been contacted about it as well, as, why do you need a building now instead of wait until there's somebody, ready to go? And it kind of hit me when you're talking about the 6-month timeline, and maybe this is a question for you or maybe Renee or Vic or whoever. When a company is looking to expand or relocate or whatever the case may be, do you have an element of a timeline on, it's on their mind, they're ready to make a decision, they're ready to move? So when that happens, if you say, okay, now let's start building, how far does that bump them back in their progress? Is that bumping them up because they have to move facilities, they have to move people, they have to get machinery, they have to get it implemented, then they have to get up and get operational. So while that building time may be 6 months, really from a full life cycle of the business itself, how far does that really put it behind?
When you're looking at a business that's looking at a capital budgeting scenario, it looks at its future cash flows. If you have a building that can come up really quick, and let's say you already have it built, then all you're looking at is finishing it out, which only takes a few months to do that. And what they're evaluating is their future cash flows, what the net present value of that project and getting things ramped up and moving as quickly as possible. And so if it means more cash flow to a company to be in that building as quickly as possible, then that's what they're evaluating. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. I mean,
yeah.
Time is money, right?
Absolutely.
realistically, is there,
But-
depending on what the business
but
is,
it's even
is there
more,
like a,
right.
is there a number of months that it throws it off? It's not just simply just the 6 months that it takes to construct.
But it's even more intrinsically than that. If you and your wife are out looking for a house and she sees some wonderful green space and you go, "Oh, I'm not sure I'm ready to deal with this construction," which may take 18 months, who knows what the building would be. But if you walk upon a house that already has a lot of the features and attractions that you're looking for, it's much easier to move into. And so let's not forget that human element of finding some space that is attractive to you, that can be shaped the way you want it to be shaped, and then you can move in as quickly as possible. And it's just like moving to another community and experiencing the same scenario.
It's less pain for them.
Less pain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. The second question actually is for Derek, if he has a minute. Thanks. I want to make sure you weren't asleep. But
how you doing, counsel? No.
Just walk me through, because you spoke last time, and there's no way he was asleep. I was watching him. Walk me through kind of the board discussions. You guys voted unanimously for this.
Yes.
And I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I don't know if you were skeptical or not, but kind of walk me through what the discussion was in that room that said, hey, this is what we need to vote for.
Well, the project was already on the way when I was assigned to the board.
Right.
So I'm coming in fresh, just listening and speaking with council members and listening to their side. So I'm hearing both sides. So actually, myself and Mr. Parrish went to a Texas Economic Development seminar.
Right.
So I took the privilege of asking professionals that were there. Like, I think the guy's name was Carlton, which he's head of the Texas Economic Development Board. And his thing was build it, but one of the things like Mr. Parrish talked about, he said, but make sure you have room to expand. If the business wants to expand, make sure you have the acreage around it to expand. But most definitely he agreed on building it. And there were other cities there that was talking about some of the same elements. So with that, I was convinced that if a company is going to come, most of them now are looking at existing buildings, especially here in Paris. I mean, I asked around because I've been gone for a little bit. So can anyone name a company that has built brand new in Paris? I mean, right now we're batting 100%, 1,000, that companies come into existing buildings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've spoken to people around the community. I mean, maybe y'all have heard people that didn't want it. I mean, if some people are for it, some people are against it. But I don't think no one can be 100% say it's not going to work or it's going to work. Right. But one thing we do know is that companies are 75% or maybe less are looking for existing buildings. And we're for the community, and so is the city council. So, I mean, I don't know if y'all gonna make a decision tonight, but I mean, I wish it could be a poll taken in the paper and let the community decide as a whole. I mean, a lot of people don't come to, city council meetings to voice their opinions. And as far as the people we've had come to the meeting, we only had one opposed as far as being in the community. The rest have been for it.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as the community in the meeting, the city's for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to get everybody's opinion or those who could make it tonight, if there was some kind of poll, not to make the decision, but just to help the city council with their decision and let the city decide. Yeah. And that's because that's who we're here for, the community.
True.
Thank you.
Thanks. Dr. Hoshmi, if you don't mind, just my quick aside on it is very simple. I personally was probably, I think I indicated this to you, probably a little bit more on the fence about this than a lot of people might suspect in the beginning, but the message that the realtors and the bankers, the unanimous decision from the PEDC board, I think those are very powerful words. You know, when Michael first came to talk to us, and Billy, the two of you kind of had the discussion of let's have the relationship, let's have the give and take, let's keep the communication going. He's been more than forthcoming about his information in the honest process, and I am a big believer in compromise, and you have to give to get, and they want something from us, and in return, they're willing to give us an element of control that otherwise, and in some cases, we may not have had. So, I mean, just from my standpoint, the people that you trusted to put on the board, the business community, the economic leaders in Texas, I mean, that's a pretty powerful weight. And, you know, maybe I don't change anybody's mind up here, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I went from someone that thought, gosh, that's a lot of money to, you know, at some point you have to trust and you have to believe in the research and the due diligence of other people. So with that said, I mean, obviously, I think everybody can probably tell I'm supportive of it, but, you know, I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
Michael, I'm going to stop now because you've made your point.
Oh, no, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Trinado, I'm going to come back to you because you're the one whose item it is. So you speak whatever you want to say because it's your item.
Okay, I think this is going on, what, about a year now, and we want to answer for it. That's what I feel like.
Whatever, it's your agenda item, you decide what you want to do.
I'd like to get an answer to whether we build it or not, so that we can go on as a city to our next project.
Okay. So what do you want to do?
I think it's a good thing. I really do. I talk to people, like everybody else has, you know, for and against. And the people I talk to, they understand. And a lot of them, you know, it seems like a lot of them, most of them were for it. You know, if you talk to them a while, listen to what they have to say, and then you kind of come to a conclusion, and that's the way I feel.
So what do you want to do?
I would like to make a motion that we allow them to construct the spec building on that property.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
No discussion?
I can discuss further if you want. Any further discussion? If you want to discuss further. I'm going to stop you for temporarily because right now we have a motion on the floor. So please bear with me. Second?
Yeah, second.
Any further discussion? Does anyone want to discuss further? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. If you don't mind me making one suggestion, where did Mr. Perez go? Mr. Perez, personally, I feel that if you can come up with some other suggestions with the building, I'll be glad to entertain them. Again, with what I had discussed before when I was talking. Okay. Yes, Mr. Gladfelter, go ahead.
If you do not spend this money tonight on putting this building up, this fantasy building, the money will not actually physically burn a hole in your pocket. The money will stay there. There just seems to be some strange urgency about putting up a structure to nowhere.
Okay. Mr. Gladfelter, I'm going to stop by saying that they're trying their best to do the best possible for the city. We may disagree with what they're saying, but that doesn't...
Correct, but you know, everyone that spoke up here tonight seems to have had a personal vested interest in this, and nowhere have I heard anything from the taxpayers.
Okay. Let's not...
I just think that's interesting.
Let's not take that route. We are going to remain civil, and we are going to discuss it properly. Thank you for your comment.
Don't forget us, guys.
All right.
Dr. Hashmi, could I just say one thing?
Sure.
I was like Matt,
Yeah.
that I was on the fence when I got here tonight. And it was a very hard decision for me. And I'm not against PDC. I'm not against bringing businesses in here. I just feel like we can still use it as an incentive and market it that way, and I'm not against anything. And if they can bring me a name of a company, I'll be the first to put it back on.
All right, good enough. All right, the next item is item number 14, third and final reading, discuss and act on an ordinance of City Council of City of Paris granting to Encore Electric Delivery Company, LLC, its successor and assignees, an delivery franchise for the non-exclusive right to use and occupy public right-of-way within the City of Paris for construction and operation of an electric transmission and distribution system, prescribing conditions governing the use of public right-of-way, providing for compensation therefore, providing for effective date and term of the said franchise, providing for written acceptance of this franchise, providing for repeal of all existing franchise ordinance to Encore Electric Delivery Company, its predecessors and assignees, and findings that the meeting at which this franchise is passed is open to public and providing for severability. So this is a final reading, which is the third and final reading. Mr. Anderson.
That's correct. This is the third and final reading that's required before we can pass a franchise ordinance. And like I say, the staff recommends that it be approved.
All right. Any discussion on this? Anyone has any questions for Mr. Anderson? No. Okay. So this is the final one. We take a motion on this one, right? So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 15 is discuss and act on an ordinance amending the traffic control map adopted in section 3165B of Code of Ordinance of City of Paris, Texas, establishing a stop sign at the intersection of 16th Northeast and Van Zandt Street, stopping north and southbound traffic on 16 Northeast Street. Mr. Tuttle.
Council. This item come before the Traffic Commission in our last meeting. At this particular intersection, we had got some complaints because there were yield signs at the intersection, and all the other traffic control devices in that neighborhood were stop signs. So the Traffic Commission made a recommendation to change those yield signs and place stop signs there.
So you recommend it?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 16, discuss and act on an agreement with an architect for design-related tasks for construction of the new EMS station. I need a motion to untable this item. I'll make that motion to untable. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Frierson seconded it. So the item is untabled. Mr. Godwin, you want to add anything to it?
I have
or no?
nothing new.
Okay. I do have a question on this. Where did Mr. Denny go? There he is. Was Mr. Denny given a chance to study this project, etc.? Did you were going to relook or something, if I remember it from the last meeting?
When I did my proposal, I looked at a preliminary.
Can you please come and speak at the mic?
When I was invited to make a proposal, being one of three firms that were being considered, I had a preliminary meeting with Kent Klinkerman, where he had a preliminary sketch, a starting place of a sketch, and from that, I was able to put together my proposal.
Okay. So you've studied it, you feel comfortable doing it?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question. Any of the council members have any questions? No, sir. No. Are the other architects here too, or no? No. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept Mr. Denny's proposal for that.
Like to second it.
Now discussion, anybody wants to discuss this item? Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Mr. Frierson, which way?
For.
For
Yep.
it, okay. Thank you. Item number 17, discuss and act on meeting dates for November and December. All the council members saw the dates which were written. Are all those acceptable to everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a motion to accept those days for council meetings.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Did you get that, Janice?
I know Billy seconded, but who made the motion?
Dr. Clifford did.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Receive update from city staff on drainage projects.
Yes. Hey.
Go right ahead. You're going to make it short and sweet, I hope.
I'll make it short and sweet.
Okay,
I know y'all
good.
are tired. In the map before you, you'll see the drainage channels that we've worked on. You'll see the different colors marking the index on the corner there. We're making good progress. The green is the cut and cleaned, and you'll see that that's just a tip of the iceberg of some of the drainage channels that's in town. The black represents some that we have reconstructed. And that's just the ones we've reconstructed. Some of these that we've cut and cleared, will also need to be reshaped. And we just haven't got to that. We'll probably do that with a lot of the city staff as months go forward. The purple is the four that you see in purple are on the schedule. Probably going to kind of wrap the clearing and grubbing up December. We'll move through that in December. And the orange you'll see quite a bit of the fingers there in orange. That's identified channels that we have not gotten to yet. We're roughly $926,000 into our dollars that we spent. In addition to that money, there's $85,000 that's been awarded for engineering services for the 24th Street drainage channels and that type of stuff. So we're trying to kind of stay ahead of the game, leave some money in there for when the engineer identifies what needs to be done on that there's actually construction money for that. This doesn't mean that we're done. I mean, we're as city staff ourselves, we just can't get any more, don't have the money or funds for more contracting work to be done. So we'll handle a lot of it in-house. Making a lot of progress. We're trying to figure now how we're going to maintain what we've done and keep it cleared for years to come. So that's also a big factor in it. That's just kind of an update, and I know that y'all been getting the monthly reports on where we've been and what we've done, and just kind of wanted to update everybody in the public on where we're at.
Anyone has any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
You said that part of the money for engineering was for the 24th Street?
Well, it's the tributary. Let's see.
Way up here north of the Wade Park.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes from the Wade Park all the way down
Goes
to
underneath Lamar Avenue that floods all the time.
Yeah, it starts at Wade and
Right.
meanders through and ends up at Clarksville.
Right.
That's the one that's being studied on the
Okay.
the engineering
What
design.
about the one on just east of 26, where that goes like sort of between Hubbard and Culbertson, and it goes by her house, and
That's part of it.
Is that part
Yes,
of it
ma'am.
too? Okay,
Yes,
that's what I
ma'am.
wanted to make sure of, because she has been so faithful to being here every meeting. And then I have another one that I know was on the books to be studied, and that's the one on Johnson's Wood.
Yeah, that is actually the Johnson Woods from, I guess it's Lamar to Clark Lane.
Right.
That if you'll see that's in the purple. That's on schedule. We're going to start clearing and grubbing. There's basically a 25-foot drainage easement behind those houses back through there, and that is scheduled. Probably we'll start that in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Now, is there going to be anything where that erosion is going to be dealt with that's going into those people's houses, backyards?
Yeah, for right now, as far as clearing and grubbing, that's what we're doing as far as the creek. I think some of the erosion will be actually taken care of. There's a sewer line going to be replaced back there in part of the bond
Yeah,
project.
the new sewer line will be built in 2017.
Okay.
So
Because I've had some people asking on that.
yeah,
about
it's
that.
been under design for a while, and
Right.
it's 90% complete, something like that. So we hope to bid that out sometime after the first of the
After
year.
the first of the year?
Right.
Okay. Now, I guess I only have one more question. I'm hurrying around.
You said you only had two.
I know that y'all have gone in and sprayed a lot of the ditches, and it's been, it has killed a lot of the vegetation. Y'all are planning on going back and cleaning that out?
Yes, matter of fact, you'll see this week and part of next week, we're not doing any more cutting and grubbing. Some of the ditches you see that we have cleared still has debris, rubbish. That's what we're spending the next week and a half to 2 weeks doing, is going back and
Because I've had some
cleaning.
people ask about that by their businesses and things.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And Buttermilk Creek, that's my last one.
That's number 4.
A lot of
It
problems
went
in
from
my
2 to
district, I'm
3 to
sorry.
4.
She's asking for all of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is actually sort of in mine and sort of in yours or somebody's.
Now you're pushing
Buttermilk
words
Creek.
into it.
She's just using one of mine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Buttermilk Creek, right there at Clarksville.
Yes. You talking about by PD? that
Yeah,
runs
I
up
mean,
through there.
on the other north side.
We've actually reshaped and cleared
On the vet's clinic and everything.
behind the vet.
Oh.
That goes on up off
Yeah,
of,
by the fitness place on the.
Cozy, Cappuccino.
Yeah,
on the Yes.
north
Right
side.
there on that east
yeah,
side.
that is actually being done by city employees. We just, now we still got to come in and go between Clarksville and Collegiate. That section, we still got to kind of do some clearing and reshaping of that. We have gone, from Clarksville back through the trail to where Buttermilk
Right, yeah, that part, yeah.
meets the other creek, and we've got there at Collegiate and got that. At some point, we've got to go even to where that Y's together and go farther out toward the Luton city limits.
Well, I applaud everybody.
So,
Thank you. I'll
thanks.
shut up now.
Yes, go ahead. Sure.
I actually don't have a question. I just, I've been on the trail a lot recently, and you can really tell the
Tell the
difference
difference,
in how much has changed just from aesthetics, much less the actual way the water is going to flow. So thank you, guys.
Great, thanks.
I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Fendley. If you're being on the trail for that long, you're having too much free time. We need to
Do what you
figure
have
that
to do,
one
man.
out.
If that's what gets me, no big deal.
Ms. Lancaster, you had a question?
No.
No, okay, thank you
I
so
don't-
much.
wait.
Oh, sorry.
Jerry.
Yes.
I've heard from people at York Edition. Are y'all still going out that way? Or?
Yeah, well, actually, we've kind of bumped a stump on York as far as getting some easements that are needed. So we've revamped and actually have another game plan, kind of a different one. We're going to do some underground drainage work that will accomplish the same feat without having to have those easements that we've bumped up against. So,
All done with this item? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
thanks.
Item number 19 is consider and approve future events for city council or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. I have a number of issues on this one, so I'm going to discuss this. We, in the beginning of the year, had discussed multiple things, and I want to bring it to the city manager's attention. We have not heard back on that. Cleanup of entryways into the city. So I need to get an update on that. Number two, one of the people who attends the meetings over here regularly, who's sitting over here, is upset with all of us because she had requested and wanted to know an answer as to when the taxes are delinquent on the properties. She had requested that why are the names not published in the paper? Yes, it does cost, but we might recover some money. We had told her that we'll get back to her, but we have never gotten back to her. So she's upset about that, and we need to resolve that. So whatever, put it as an agenda item so that we can come back and discuss it amongst the council members, whether it needs to be done or doesn't need to be done, so that she gets her answer back. Next thing is, we had also discussed about making the permitting process a little bit easier. And I think some of the answers were already given, but we wanted kind of a paged form thing, so if we can at some point return back to that item and get an update on that. And finally, I was happy to see that we got rid of 3 tax-deferred properties, but we again need to get more on so that we can get on with this. So those 4 are my issues which I want to bring back. So at some point, if we can put it on the agenda.
Okay.
And finally, I think me and you had discussed, and I think you had already sent it to other council members about the sale of the bond so that we can get the other projects completed.
Right, right.
And you're putting it on the next agenda, I take
Will
it.
be the December 5th agenda.
Okay, all right.
That
Any
special
of the other council members want to add anything? All right. Mr. Frierson?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.